Welcome to the Outdoor Test Kitchen Podcast. I'm your host, Seth, along with Tim, and together we'll be discussing all things cooking, camping, and everything in between. We've got an exciting episode in store for you this week, so let's get started. Yes, indeed. Let's get started.
Welcome back, guys.
Yes, hope everybody had a great 4th of July.
Yes.
I know we had a pretty good one.
Very good one, actually. We did quite a bit. Had a lot of fun.
That's right. Well, of course, we did the traditional fireworks.
Well, yes. And, we had a little firework war. That was fun.
Yes. Well, it's not like Roman candle war.
No, we weren't.
Not
well, it
crazy.
wasn't.
The little paper
It wasn't
snappers.
dangerous. Yeah, it was the little kid snappers, not the adult snappers. The little kid ones that you can pop in your hand.
Although I didn't like popping them in my hand.
Apparently this guy had never done it before.
But, they're explosives. You're supposed to pop them in your hand?
I was scared too when I did it for the first time at 5 years old.
Yes, well, but they are fun to throw at each other.
Yes, they are. But other than that, we did practice safety because in the end they are explosives.
That is true, and that's, and we popped up some good artillery shells.
Oh.
Some pretty loud ones.
Yeah.
But
Specifically, they're the Excalibur. Well, actually, we did. It was actually pretty cool. The little stand that we stopped at, they broke up their different boxes of artillery shells into little packages, so you could kind of get a little bit of everything. You could really
get a good variety of the different ones instead of having to spend $150 on one type.
That's another thing.
Yeah. Ooh.
That's $150. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, like we said last week, prices are going up.
That's obvious. That's so true.
But the little stand, it was a great idea, and that's why we like the little roadside ma and pa stands, is because, they actually took the time, broke it up, had little packets of 6 plus the tube, and, they were $20, $30, depending on what size they were.
What size, which brand.
And, we got like 3 of those and then got another variety pack of some smaller stuff. Honestly, we spent maybe $140, but
yeah,
instead of just one box of the same kind, we got several different.
Yeah, we got
all those little ones they're just a lot of fun. They're fountains and then
fountains, the little teeny, I can't remember, the missile ones, really annoying. The ones you hate to hear people put off.
But they're so much fun.
Yeah, they are. And, it was just cool to be able to get all the way down to the little snappers, all the way up to the giant, loud as heck artillery shells, which are fun. Very fun.
I know. And it was sad this year, usually where we're located, we have some neighbors. We don't really know them that great, but we always on the 4th or the
pretty
first
much
of the
any time
year,
you can buy fireworks.
We would they would fire off some, and then we would fire off some, and we go back and forth. But this year, they were not around, so it was kind of sad. It was just us.
Yeah. it was still fun, but it wasn't like how it usually is, where there's almost that little bit of competition.
Yes, but it was still a great time. And and I forgot the one little cool firework that this little stand this guy recommended was these little ladybugs. They spun around, and then all of a sudden they just shot up and didn't know where they were going. Luckily, in our parking lot, it was big enough. It almost hit a car, although someone did throw a couple fireworks on a car. Not on purpose, but...
Yes, it wasn't necessarily on purpose. But those ladybugs, they went actually really high.
Yes. At one point, I thought we were far enough away, and it shot up and was like, oh, please don't go on the roof of the shop. That would be bad.
Yeah, that would have not been good. But also the The fireworks stand we stopped at was just kind of like your little mom and pop one, but we were just on the way back from town and saw it on the side of the road and just kind of stopped there.
Whipped to Yui, and it was really great. And it was ran by this couple, and they were so nice and helpful. And
it's like right next to their house. They're just
and that's what I love, staying local and small. I mean, and like I said, compared to some of the big box fireworks stand, the giant ones, the warehouses, you know, these people took the time and broke up and made different little
like their own special packages, not the ones that they just bought from their wholesaler and are just selling to you. They actually
and they had some like a mystery grab bag for kids that was like $10, and then they did a really cool thing. And I definitely, next time we need fireworks, we'll be driving to them.
Yeah, exactly. It's good customer service, and that's, I think.
But, you know, hopefully next year the prices will go down.
Yeah, well.
We can hope.
If we're lucky.
But, and also, and unlike, you know, typical 4th of July, you know, we didn't do the standard burger or hot dogs. We actually made some awesome nachos.
Oh.
I'm telling you what. And they were with the blue corn chips, which I love those for nachos. And then we took some really good, just simple ground beef and some refried beans and kind of, sauteed the ground beef, and we were trying out this Siete seasoning pack.
Siete, what was it? Was their traditional seasoning pack, but isn't it a non-GMO?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was actually very good.
The flavor point was very.
But after we cooked the meat, we just added in some beans to it and mixed them together, and then of course piled up our nachos on a little sheet pan, mixed in cheese, and then poured the meat kind of mixture over it, and then more cheese, and threw it in one of our ovens, and just
making me hungry.
And we just kind of cooked it, baked it off for 10 minutes or so until the cheese was good and melted. But we were using one of our little countertop ovens that, you know, we've been trying out different ovens for RVers and stuff. So,
and this oven in particular, I think we're on number 2.
This is the second one we've run through.
Yeah.
So far it does pretty good, but it has its limitations.
It does. When it gets a little hot in July and you're running at 400 degrees, it's...
You leave the door open with it. It will melt the electronics.
It might do something it's not supposed to.
Yes. But other than that, and we're doing a full review on it. That'll come out later.
Yeah. But the really cool thing about nachos is they're so easy to make. Even if you don't have a pot or a pan or an oven, you can still make them. Because you could do a full pack.
Yeah.
You could do it in a Dutch oven. Of course, that would be a pan, but any possible way you could do it. You could do it with just a torch.
Yeah, I mean, you're just melting cheese, and I mean, of course, you got to cook your
your beef and
and just do a simple. You can even pre-cook your meat, throw your full pack together with nachos, your cheese, your meat, wrap it up, put it on the fire for 10, 15 minutes, and warm everything back up.
Yeah,
and that'd be an easy way. Well, sounds like something we're going to be trying.
Yeah, stay tuned.
But so that it was a great little 4th of July, I would say.
Very good. Very American 4th of July.
Yes.
As the name implies.
I'll tell you what. And then also we did a couple other things this week.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, we went on our hikes because we like to hike every day. It's fun.
It's always good. Stay active.
Get out there.
Outdoors.
And then we were in.
What? Wait.
Oh yeah, one of the really good things I forgot. I don't know why I almost forgot. What? We made for one dinner last week a pork tender.
Oh.
And
yes.
I tell you what, it was delicious.
Yeah, honey Dijon pork tender. There's just something about it. It was
You
just
know, that little honey mustard or honey Dijon kind of vinaigrette that we found was really good.
It was really cool. You just found it at the store. It's a non-GMO.
And it was organic. It was pretty good, you know, because, I mean, we like to know where our food's coming from and like to find the best and not just the store-bought product that's full of garbage and chemicals and everything. And so if we do use a store-bought one, we really try to look and find the best quality one. I mean, face it, sometimes we don't want to make it from scratch.
Yeah, and and of course, you know, whenever you buy it, like he was saying, we want to make sure that it's good for us to our best ability. Sometimes you can't, and you just got to suck it up and try better next time.
That's why and then you hike an extra mile.
Just throw an extra mile, and you're probably fine.
But we first seared it off in, of course, one of our Lodge cast irons, which that is
great cast irons.
They make good product, and they last forever.
Yeah.
But seared it off, and then just grabbed some foil, poured a little of that little dressing on it, and then wrapped it up and threw it back in the oven and just kind of baked it off for about 30 minutes or so until pork read about 150, 145, 150, and then pulled it out and let it rest for about 5 minutes, and then sliced it up and
it was perfectly
took the
cooked.
Juices and everything from the full pack and poured it in a little saucepan and just kind of reduced it just to give something to pour, a little juice.
I mean, sauces are always good.
Oh, yes.
I mean, come on.
And well, we also made with that, we got some green beans from the farmer's market. And I'll tell you, this being summer is amazing because there's farmer's markets. I wish I could get up a little earlier and beat the crowds, but hey, they still have good things when I get up and go.
But it's true, the farmer's market is awesome. But you do kind of have to watch out in some places, depending on your farmer's market. Sometimes people just go to the store and buy the same stuff you could go buy and make you pay more.
Yeah, and they just put it in cute little baskets and stuff and say it was farm fresh. So, but that's really good, and that's easy to kind of recognize those kind of people that are just selling the garbage.
And a few simple questions, and you can figure out whether or not they bought it from the store or not. I mean, you could say, "Hey, where's your farm?"
Hey, did you buy this at the store?
Yeah, you just be blunt. Did you buy this at the store? You'll probably know if they're lying.
So, but hey, that's the great thing about farmers market. You can go talk to the vendors and see exactly where your food is coming from. But we got these green beans, and I do love green beans. And I'll tell you what, a little trick for a lot of people. You got to snap them, but if you take your saute pan and you just want some sauteed green beans, the first thing, just fill your saute pan with a little bit of water, bring it to boil, throw your green beans in there, let them kind of blanch for 2-3 minutes, drain it, and then throw your butter in your pan. And the green beans are still hot, but they're a little softer.
Yeah.
Throw them in, saute them off. Instead of just sauteing them, because it's better to blanch because it will soften them just a little, keep their crunch, and really bring out the flavors and the vibrancy, and then saute.
Yeah, and that's almost true with every vegetable, but especially the harder vegetables like a green bean. When you blanch them, not only does it make it softer, it does actually make it more vibrant. It'll make your veggies, like a carrot, it'll be even more orange. Mm-hmm. Asparagus is more green. Green beans, same thing.
And it just and blanching just kind of gets the rawness off, and then so you don't have to overcook it, or with sautéing, you don't want mushy vegetables.
Yeah, you don't want to over blanch it either, because if you over blanch it, then it's just mushy.
And if you're blanching it and cooking it later, that's the beautiful thing about blanching is you can blanch your vegetables, then you ice bath them, stop the cooking, and then you can keep them in the fridge, and when you're ready to go, throw them in a pan. It's a quick reheat. It goes very fast. I mean, that's how restaurants do it. That's how we used to prep all our vegetables for service. So,
and whenever you ice bath them, you want to make sure you mix them around too, because if you don't, depending on how many veggies you're doing, the outside of the veggies, like the outside layer of veggies, could cool off, but your center veggies are still cooking. So you want to make sure that you get the ice water on all of the veggies.
But and again, I mean that's I mean good vegetables and simple blanched and then a little bit of sautéed. And with those green beans, we threw in a little butter, some pine nuts, and a little salt, pepper, and some diced garlic. Just sautéed it around, and right at the end, just spritzed a little lemon over it, just to bring out the freshness. And they were really good green beans. It went really well with the pork tenderloin.
Yeah, the flavors complement each other very well.
And then, of course, we made some of our sweet potatoes, our smashed sweet potatoes, not mashed, but smashed.
Yes.
And that's probably one of my favorite ways to eat.
Eat potatoes in general?
Yes. And it's pretty simple. You basically cook the potato, boil it, or they have an awesome product in a bag, and you just microwave it, and they're cooked. Let them cool. Slice them to about an inch.
Yeah,
thick
about
or
an
so.
inch.
And then just get your cast iron, some butter, put them all down, get a little crust, flip them, add some onions, some garlic, and then let those cook down for just a little bit. Kind of take a spoon or a spatula and
Just
push.
Smash them.
Yeah. Not just like, but,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
Nice,
I mean,
light
you're
little smash.
not making pancakes, but you're
Yeah.
just giving it a little kind of a
Yeah.
bowl.
Just kind of break them to get a little.
yeah.
And then we typically pour in put some fresh basil and parsley, and then throw in cream.
Yeah,
And-
typically we would do cream.
and then let it just kind of reduce down, and that makes the
Like a-
best
Yeah.
potatoes. But this potatoes, instead of cream, we took some of our OTK Ranch and kind of thinned it down with a little milk, and then poured it in. And speaking
Yes.
of our OTK Ranch,
Uh-oh.
it's time for the recipe of the week, where we break down one of our favorite recipes and give you guys all the details. So let's get cooking. Indeed, yes, let's get cooking. And yes, like I said, OTK Ranch Dressing. That's the recipe of the week. I mean,
Yes, it's pretty American, I've got to say.
yeah, what's more American than ranch dressing?
I mean, not too much, but maybe apple pie.
But but ranch is a close second.
Yeah, you know.
But yeah, so we're going to be going over our ranch dressing. And, one reason that we really worked out a really good ranch dressing recipe, one, it's the number one dressing in the country. And two, when you start looking at the back of the labels of store-boughts and even the little packets, and you just see that you can't pronounce half the ingredients in there, and then it's do you really want to put that in your body? I mean, I like to know where my food comes from. I mean, obviously, I do like food. So,
Yeah.
and then the more I know. I mean, it's really, you are what you eat. So try to, at least if I'm going to eat ranch dressing, I'm going to have at least taste good and have all real ingredients in it.
Yeah. And another reason is because almost every ranch you buy from the store, even the packets that you're supposed to be able to just mix buttermilk in or just add one ingredient and have ranch, they're really not that good. I mean, it's ranch, but it doesn't make you want to go back for more.
Yes.
But our recipe,
I tell you what, it's hard to keep it in the fridge.
we ate a jar of it in one day.
Yes.
It was very good.
And it's
Is
great 'cause
very
we were
good.
dipping carrots, radishes, and everything.
Mushrooms. I mean, you could dip asparagus in it too.
Yeah, and that's the great thing, to have it on hand. It's a quick snack, a healthy snack. Get some carrots, celery, whatnot, and boom, just put
Your
a
favorite
little, dip
vegetable,
it.
really.
Of course, if you want to go unhealthy, get chips, crackers.
Hey, but actually, we found a pretty cool chip brand. They're called Uglies, and they're non-GMO.
And they're priced well because they use the whole potato instead of just the pretty ones for
Yeah.
marketing reasons. They use the whole potato, so there's less waste, and it actually costs more for us consumers.
You mean cost less?
Costs less. Sorry,
What?
sorry. I'm so used to
Yeah.
high prices.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, they taste really good. They're non-GMO, so they're at least healthier.
And especially dipped in ranch.
Yes.
And they have a sweet potato chip dipped in ranch is amazing.
Yes, it is.
But also in our ranch, and our ranch is so easy. We're gonna break it down in just a second, but you know, I kind of measure the time of making it versus getting into the car, driving to the store, walking down the aisle, picking up a bottle of ranch, going, checking out, bringing it back home. And most of these ingredients are pretty standard to have on hand.
I mean, if you make most of the recipes that we've been given out to you, you should have these ingredients for the most part.
Yeah, and they're pretty everyday. I mean,
They
pretty
are
much
everyday
keep 'em-
ingredients.
And so that's what makes it easy. It's just what you have. You throw it together, and you have fresh ranch right there. And
Yeah.
I'm telling you what, you don't have to worry about how long it will last because it's not going to last long in the fridge. It will be gone before it can expire.
Yep.
Right.
It definitely will.
Just to break it down, we'll go over the recipe. And of course, you can find the recipe on our website at outdoortestkitchen.org.
/recipes.
And so, you know, check that out for more details on it. But real quick, we'll break it down. It's just a half cup of mayo. And on the mayo front,
Oh, yeah. You can make your mayo from scratch.
yes, and I do prefer that. And it's not as difficult as most people think. It's actually really easy. Even if you have a blender, it's even easier. But even if you hand whisk it, it takes no time.
Yeah.
And it's basically egg and oil and some seasoning, a little lemon. But if you don't want to, just make sure you get a good mayonnaise that
Mayonnaise.
it's not just garbage ingredients for you.
Definitely don't want to do Kraft.
Yeah, Kraft mayo is not.
Not that it's bad for you. It's just it doesn't make a good sauce.
Yeah, it's very, very thin. If you want runny, then use Kraft.
Yeah.
Right. But we like to make our own mayo, and that will be a recipe later on. We've been working on a couple easy techniques for mayo, but I digress. So a half cup of mayo, and then a half cup of sour cream or Greek yogurt. I personally prefer Greek yogurt.
And not only Greek yogurt, it's easier to find a non-GMO. Because sour cream, you got two brands if you go to the store.
pretty much.
You got the store brand, and then you got Daisy. It's like the only sour cream there is. It's crazy.
So, but yes, and you're right. In the plain Greek yogurt, don't get like vanilla or blueberry.
Oof.
But that would be a little different.
Blueberry ranch.
It could work.
It could.
And then a half a cup of, we prefer cream. You can sub it with buttermilk if you want that buttermilk twang, even though ranch is traditionally a buttermilk recipe by the creators. But we like the cream because we're getting the twang from the Greek yogurt. So we don't really need that extra buttercream or buttermilk.
Yeah. And the cream it makes it a lot thicker, almost like a dipping sauce.
Yes.
You can still use it as like a sauce to toss in.
Well, it's a salad dressing. It still tosses very well. We made a really awesome salad last week with the ranch dressing. Been eating ranch all week.
Yeah. I mean, it's that good.
Yes. But it does toss very well. But it is thick, a nice dipping consistency. And then all the dry ingredients are basically, it's freeze dried, and remember, freeze dried dill or fresh, and it's 1.5 teaspoons of that. And freeze dry is a 1-to-1 ratio to fresh. Now, if you're just regular dried herbs, it's not a 1-to-1 ratio. And for this, I wouldn't recommend just dried.
it's either do fresh or do freeze dried.
Yes, and now freeze dried herbs are readily available, and we use them over
Constantly.
just regular dried herbs.
Yeah.
So, and then with the dill, you're gonna add half teaspoon of freeze dried parsley, a teaspoon of freeze dried chives, and then a half teaspoon of onion powder, half teaspoon of garlic powder, quarter teaspoon of smoked salt, a quarter teaspoon of pepper, and then 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. Or they have a great lemon powder
Yes.
that if you wanted to, you know, bag up, make little ranch packets, you could just add all the dry ingredients with the lemon powder. And then when you're out at the campsite and you have your mayo, sour cream, and cream, 'cause those are pretty 3 standard ingredients that usually have on hand even at the campsite, you can mix together ranch that easy, or you
Yeah.
can make it ahead.
Yeah, because if you mix your ranch at the campsite, it'll, depending on, the different variables, but it could potentially last longer, as in hold as your ranch longer, than if you made it a few days before on your trip out there. Or, maybe you just really want to have it as fresh ranch at the campsite. Who knows? The option's there.
Yes, and that's a great thing. And we can go back to like with this ranch, and we've tried a lot of variations, and we tried a lot of store product, and
Yeah.
a lot of packets that you just mix into stuff.
But also, if you read the back of those packets, it's just as bad.
Yes, it's a lot of fillers and just kind of garbage.
Yeah.
That you
Just
shouldn't
because
be
you're
putting
mixing
in your
it
body.
together with milk that you buy or buttermilk or X that you're mixing it with doesn't mean it's healthier.
Because most of those packets do require mayonnaise, sour cream, or buttermilk, those 3. So why not just do it yourself, and you have a better product, and it tastes better. I guarantee you, it tastes better.
And you can say, I made this ranch. It just makes it that much better.
Yes. And with that ranch, and like I said, America's condiment, like, again, we were talking about salads. Even though it looks like it's really thick, when you throw it on there and you toss it in, I mean, it covers,
It coats your lettuce very well.
yes, and perfectly. Not over. I know some people like to pour a whole bottle of ranch on their salad, but it coats it nicely. And we just did just a very simple iceberg, like an old school
Just a
pizza
classic
buffet
salad.
kind of salad, which is iceberg and
I love
some
iceberg.
cheese, bacon bits, and some onions and just whatnot. And we were having something else with it, and I just didn't make it because, like, well, I made enough salad. I'll just eat salad.
Mm-hmm.
And
But
then
also, I mean, we've made potato salad with it.
oh, good ranch potato salad. I mean, that's
Bacon ranch potato salad.
and all you gotta do is boil some potatoes, cook some bacon, and then toss everything together. Maybe a couple onions and celery for some crunch, and boom,
You're good to go.
quick, simple, easy.
Yep.
And then, like I said, dips. And with dips, like, you can add a little Valentino to make it like a spicy ranch, or a buffalo
Yeah.
sauce to make a buffalo ranch.
Or just your favorite hot sauce. Whatever you want, really.
Yes, and I mean that's the beauty of this is a great base recipe. If you want to add a little kick to it, put a little hot sauce into it.
Yeah. Or even if you don't want to like put a hot sauce, but you want it to be a little spicy, put some cayenne.
And then, like we were talking earlier, our smashed sweet potatoes, doing it with the ranch this time, but we did thin it out with a little bit of milk because I wanted it to be more saucy when I put
Yeah.
it in the pan and warmed up and let it kind of reduce down and thicken back up.
Yeah.
But remember, if it is too thick for you for some reason, just add a little bit more milk or cream and it will thin it out.
yeah.
Preferably milk. Cream might keep thickening it up.
Yeah. Yeah. If you had cream and you're mixing it quickly, the harder and faster you mix it, the more likely you're going to make it thicker.
Yeah. So
With
if
cream.
you want to thin it down for a sauce, or just you want to thin it down, we recommend milk. It
Yeah.
won't take away, and don't add too much. Like
I would do like maybe a tablespoon at a time.
yeah. I mean, all the way up to a quarter cup, and you won't really take away from the flavor or have to adjust the seasonings.
Yeah.
And we've used it on sandwich spreads as a sandwich spread.
Yeah.
And we've made sauces for chicken, did a buffalo chicken ranch, and then made the ranch sauce to pour over the chicken with some little ranch potatoes that we seasoned with like our ranch powder that we make.
Yeah. Which is basically just the dry ingredients plus some buttermilk powder.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, it's basically our powder ranch.
Yeah.
It's a little different ratio, but
we're still working on that recipe.
Yeah.
Just because the powdered buttermilk is not as shelf stable as you would like.
yeah.
For what you get, a lot of times they say you need to refrigerate it.
But you don't want to refrigerate your spices because you pull them out, they get wet.
Yeah. So we're still working on our powder, but like I said, the best way is just all the dry ingredients of this ranch dressing and use that as a seasoning.
Yeah.
And that'll make your stuff taste like ranch.
Yeah, I mean it's true.
And then one of my favorite sandwiches.
I had this for the first time just yesterday.
Yes. It's a grilled bacon and cheddar sandwich with ranch dressing. And it was back, I used to make this when I was a chef out at a country club. This was one of the 19th hole favorite sandwiches, and it was called the Eagle. And I'll tell you what, all it is just some grilled chicken, and then you layer a little bit of ranch, put your bacon slices on, and then you cover it with shredded cheese or a little more ranch and then shredded cheese, and you just let that all melt and get down together. And I did it in a cast iron, so it had the nice little like cheese crispies, and then you put it on a bun, put a little extra ranch on the bun, lettuce, tomato, onion.
I tell you what, it is as good as it sounds.
Yeah. And yes, I made it for him the first time last night for dinner.
Yeah, it was good. Very good.
Oh, and hey, like I said, the ranch, it's America's condiment.
It is.
See?
Can't go wrong.
So we hope you guys give it a try. And again, if you want to get a better detail and look at the recipe, you can go to outdoortestkitchen.org/recipes, and ranch is there.
Yep.
But
Speaking of Eagles,
time for the news. Brought to you by outdoortestkitchen.org, the website that is there to help you with all your camping and cooking needs. Now, to the news. All right, on today's camping news, tragedy in the parks on July 4th. They were trashed.
oh my gosh. No.
Well, unfortunately, as camping has become more and more popular, and that is awesome, it's growing, but there is a growing problem with garbage.
Yep.
And it is very...
Apparently, people are learning about camping, but suddenly forgot about cleaning.
That is true. Now I'm going to climb up on the old soapbox here.
Yeah. You and I both.
We were taking, on the 4th, we taken our daily hike, and it was later in that evening. Sun was starting to set, and so we decided, hey, let's go on a little hike. Before we started popping fireworks for nightfall, and then they have the lake, and we're like, oh, nice hot day.
Yeah.
Took a hike. Let's
Let's
go
go hop in the lake.
jump in the lake, cool off, and then.
But
Unfortunately, walking into the day area, everybody had left. They were obviously on their way to go pop fireworks, but they also left behind quite a lot of trash.
a lot of trash.
I'm not talking just a couple little pieces here. We'll put pictures, and you'll see all over here all the garbage, and not just like little accident garbage that I understand.
No, it was clearly purposeful. There's no way you forget that much stuff.
Yeah, water bottles, beer cans,
A T-shirt.
Yep. Clothes. I never understand. How do you forget your clothes? You came in them, but you leave them.
You came dressed and you left naked. How does that happen?
Yes.
It's a state park, man.
Yeah. Come on, there's children. Decency, please.
But no, there's even trash from the park store.
Yes.
The people went and bought something and then left it
And
there.
then park maps. I mean, we filled up two
bags.
bags walking around. We went there, and at first we walked in. We were out by the little water's edge, the beach area, and we're going to get in. And then I looked down. I was like, man, look at all that junk. Someone left like drinks and water bottles, soda bottles, and then I saw a beer bottle. I'm like, well, goodness. Then I turned around and looked like, oh, my goodness. Like almost every picnic table out there had leftover garbage. And then on the ground, there were garbage.
Which brings us to like our first point of every time we go into nature, but usually we go into state parks. So every time we go to a state park, if there's any kind of trash, we make an effort to pick it up.
Yes.
Which hopefully we can inspire you to do that too, or maybe you already do it. But as soon as we saw all that trash, first thing we did, we put our cooler down, we put our stuff down, and then we went, grabbed our bags, and started picking it up.
Yeah, because it was like, hey, I know there's some bags in the Jeep. Let's go get them. And then we started walking around, and I was like, oh, my goodness. It gets like we just kept on.
There's just no way we could have left that there. I mean, there's.
Yeah. And I'm sorry. I know there's park hosts and whatnot and that help and staff that help. But, man, they wouldn't have been there till the next morning. You know, I mean, it could have gotten windy. It did rain that night.
Yeah.
I mean, that trash could have just gone all over the park. And not only is it bad for aesthetically, but it's really bad for the critters all out there.
Yeah.
And little animals. I mean, they can get sick. They can choke on it. I mean, it's just not.
It's just, in general, it's just not good.
Yes.
If you can, as in, like, if you can pick it up, which you can because you're the one that left it there, so obviously you brought it there.
Yes.
You should.
If you bring it with you, take it with you.
Yeah.
That's the number one rule of camping and outdoors.
Full
You
hands
bring
in, full hands out.
Yes. And it's that simple. And I don't understand why people can, and I'll call it as it is, can be so selfish and just expect someone else to pick up their garbage.
Yeah.
That just does not make sense, except selfishness. So
Yeah. I mean, so, but if we all live by, we leave it better than we found it. Even if you forget something, it's okay because you're going to go pick something else up that maybe you didn't bring. But in general, if everybody does that, there's not going to be anything there after we leave.
yeah, and guys, it's important to remember, like, these are our parks. Like, I take personal pride in our park system. I take even our state park or federal system because let's face it, we're paying for it. Our tax dollars go to this, so they are our parks. And I want to take care of our parks for all the generations. And if we keep just leaving garbage and trashing it up, I mean, you can even go and Google and see that, you know, there have been several federal parks that they've closed down to excessive trash because people didn't want to take their trash with them. And we don't want to lose our areas. We want to, I mean, that's the whole thing.
We're already invested in them. Like you said, we're already paying for them. So why would we want to lose them?
I mean, and so it's just, and dude, after picking up that trash, it's not like it was an inconvenience of where the trash can was. They had a huge dumpster just past maybe 20, 30 feet from the little parking area. I mean, I literally just walked and threw it in the dumpster and then walked back and got it. Took no time. It took an extra minute or two out of my day to clean up someone else's mess.
And it wasn't someone else's mess, like one person. That was the whole day use area that we cleaned in about 2 to 5 minutes.
Yeah, and it just and it's one thing that, and I understand if you're cooking and you have you tear off your end of the cheese pack and you set it down and the wind blows it away and you might not see it blow away, or you chase it, and you know there's accidental littering that That happens.
Truly an accident.
But, you know, the fact that almost every single picnic table had some large trash left, that it was especially the water bottles, that just kills me. Just left out there. Like, dude, come on. You know they're out there. Why not pick them up? And there's a dumpster right over by the parking area. It's not inconvenient to take your trash. So it just goes down to selfishness of people nowadays think someone else should take care of it. But as good stewards of our environment, we do. That's why we pick up, and we don't mind it, and we hope everyone else will do that. And that would be a great way of leading by example, of showing the new people and old people, campers, that, hey, it doesn't take any extra time to
be a team.
Pick up a little bit of garbage. Exactly. Let's be a community, an outdoor community. And I know it's just my big pet peeve of seeing so much garbage when there's no reason for it.
Something else that I have noticed actually quite a few times: cigarette butts on a hiking trail. Yeah. Come on, dude. You're hiking.
And I'll tell you what, as a former smoker, dude, keep your butts with you. And you can ask some people that did my laundry. If I was outside smoking, I was done, I'd flick the little cherry off, roll it up, and put it in my back pocket until I got somewhere I could throw it away, if there was an ashtray or a trash can. And because I personally, even when I was a smoker, didn't want to see cigarette butts everywhere.
Yeah.
But luckily, I quit years ago, and now it really bothers me.
Yeah.
I'm like a fascist anti-smoker.
What?
Yeah. But it just, cigarette butts. Just keep them with you. And I understand, hey, I'm not blaming you and saying you're bad for smoking. Smoke away. That's your decision.
But also, it's your habit. Keep it with you.
Yes. Don't just throw it out and let everybody else pick them up.
Yeah.
So, and,
but yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same point-ish, but at our campsites, every time we go out and camp, we make a point to, before we set anything up, just kind of walk around. Not too intensive. Just if you can notice any trash, just grab it. Yeah. Put it in a bag.
And after we're done camping,
same thing.
We do the exact same thing. We load up the car, and then we're like, all right, one more walk around, and we walk and check all our little area of our campground and pick up any little trash we may, even if it's not our trash.
Yeah.
And then all right, we left it better than we found it. And that's our ultimate goal for us, is to, no matter where we go, whatever kind of campsite we're at, or even if a picnic area, day use area, we want to leave it better than what we found it for the next person. So they can go and be like, this is, maybe it's someone's first time camping or first time going on a picnic. You don't want the first timers to go out there and like, that's just garbage. Why do people do that? Like why come out?
Yeah.
So we want to grow the community, and it's awesome that the trend is it's getting more and more popular, camping. But let's remember to take our trash with us. So, and
sometimes you get lucky, and when you're picking up at the end, or even to begin with, you'll get little trophies.
Yes, so that is funny. We in the center console of the Jeep, there are little trophies. There, we have a ram, a little neat leaf off of some necklace, metal leaf, and it's like every campsite we found some little
dinosaur,
a marble. It's kind of our little our souvenir from each side.
Yeah, free souvenir.
Oh, and speaking of that, on the 4th, when we were picking up that garbage, I made 61 cents.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So it pays to pick up trash.
Yes, it does.
But you know what? Hey, I'll come down off my soapbox. But I don't know if y'all know, it perturbs me to see that much trash.
I'm just gonna be honest. I wouldn't have thought it did.
Oh yeah, well it kind of does, just a little bit. No,
good to know.
But but hey, guys. Well, I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's what we got for you today. And
Been a good week.
yes, and I'm looking forward to next week. We've got
Looking forward
some
to next week.
fun things planned like we do every week. And
Yeah.
you know,
Let us know some things that maybe you want us to talk about, or
yeah, get in touch with us on our website, outdoortestkitchen.org. You can send us some emails or comments. And, of course, if you're listening to this on Apple, leave a review. Or if you're on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. You guys know the drill.
yeah, yeah. And, of course, if you're at Apple, come over to YouTube. Check out the video.
Yes. And, and if you have any questions, comments, concerns, let us know, guys. Like I said many times before, let's keep building this community, and let's keep cooking and keep camping.
Yeah.